grounded. All right. Back here. All right. Start to move here. You're just going to lift your heels. Start to move. Go back and forth. We're already doing it. Everything is good. I'm going to stop here. Right, so we're going to do our skiers. So you'll take your hands up to the sky. Whole body, right? Bend your knees, stand your hips back and down. Put your belly to the sides, your hands back behind you. Back up. Just going to do this. Five more times here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let yourself come all the way up. Squeeze your hands down. Now, from here, you're going to take your feet out as wide as you possibly can. Right? And then you're going to take your hands up to the sky. We're going to do a right or your left. Let's do the right first. You're going to take your left wrist to your right ankle. Take that right hand up to the sky. Come back up.
Maybe switch your thing too, this year. Have a 5 for next Friday. And I did.
All right, so do a few more. Do one more each way. Come all the way up. Reach your hands up to the sky. Let your hands back down. Now, bring your feet together. And we're going to sit down on the mat. Right, as you sit down on the mat, we're going to do it. You can lift your heels and just come straight down. You're crossing your ankles, your heels, your knees, right? One knee at a time, right? Practice so you can get up and down off the mat without ever using our hands, right? It's good for us when we can do that. All right, so let's warm up with our hip line scoops here now that we're sitting. We're going to do a lot of plank work later. I'm just warning you now, right? But I want to get your core nice and warm before we start to make so that it's ready to help you out and your arms don't start doing all the work when we get there. All right, let's take your arms out long. Tuck your chin to your chest. Make fists with your hands. Pull your elbows to your ribs. You're tucking your chin. You're looking at your belly. Elbows glued to the ribs, making those tight fists. Now, come halfway down here. Right? Go right set place where it doesn't feel great. You start to feel that pull in your belly. And then from there, lift your chin up off your chest. Push your belly all the way to your thighs. Come up. Right? Keep the elbows glued to the ribs the whole time. Put your chin back to your chest. Go to that halfway place again. Come back up again. So each time you come up, you're lifting your chin. As you go down, you're tucking your chin. So when you're at that halfway point, you should be staring directly at your belly. Keep your elbows glued to your ribs the whole time. Make the core do the work. All right, 2 more here. Last one. Come all the way up. Now, hug your knees. Or hug your arms around your knees. Tuck your chin to your chest, drive your forehead toward your knees. All right, and then let's come up. All right, so let's start our first plank sequence here. Right, then we'll do some other stuff, then we'll go back to the plank sequence. All right, what you're gonna do, you're gonna come around into a plank. Now, this can be a plank on your knees, right? You can be down on your knees, or you can be up on your toes. You decide, right? If you're down on your knees, you still want that one straight line from your shoulder down to your knees. So you don't want to push your hips back. You don't want your shoulders behind your wrists. You don't want your hips up high, right? They drop low. If you're on your toes, your hips should be just below your shoulders. All right, so hopefully that gives you some guidance where it should be here. Now, what we're going to do, first, you're just going to take your right foot, step it out wide to the right. Take your left foot, step it out wide to the left. And then step your feet back in. Bring your right foot in, bring your left foot in. Now, this next time, we're going to switch. We're going to go left foot out wide first, right foot out wide, right foot out wide. It's like a tongue twister. All right, bring that left foot back in, bring that right foot back in. All right, so we're going to do that 4 more times on each side. So it goes right wide, right in, left wide, right wide, left in, right in, right wide, left wide, right in, left in. If you're doing this on your knees, right, I should say that, right? Left wide, left in, right in. So twice more, whether you're on your knees or on your toes, right wide, right in, left wide, right, left in, right in. Just one more time. Right wide, right in, left wide, right, left in, right in. Once you get back to your plank, drop down to your knees, let yourself shift to child's pose. Like I said, a lot of work in the planks this morning. So once your arms take a break, if you need to straighten back behind you, reach towards your heels while you're in child's pose, do that. All right, and then when you're ready, we're gonna come back up into tabletop. Now, as we come up to our tabletop here, I'm gonna give you the option, right? This whole thing can be done on the knees. The whole thing can be done on the toes, or you can do some combination of on the knees or on the toes, which is what I'm gonna do eventually, right? But I'm gonna show you first all on the knees, right? So you're here in this modified side plank, or in this modified plank, right? So your right knee is down. Now you're gonna keep your left knee down, right? You're gonna lift your right foot up. Take that right foot, tap your right toes back behind your left calf, and then take your right hand up to the sky. So you look like this. Okay, so you're doing like a little modified side plank, tapping those left toes or right toes. I don't even know which way we went. Back behind you. And then you're gonna come back down, all right? Now, once you get back down, you're either in modified plank with your knees down, or maybe you're in full plank. You're gonna take a tricep push-up here. That just means you're gonna bend your elbows, bring your forehead towards the mat, push back up, right? Then from there, we do the other side. So this time, you keep that opposite knee down, lift the other foot up, take it back, touch those toes outside the edge of your mat, and then take that hand up to the sky. Come back around, and you come and you do a tricep push-up. So you bend your elbows, come back up. All right, now, you guys can do what you just did again as I go through this, or you can do it full on your toes. That's what I'm going to demonstrate here. If you want to stay on your knees, stay on your knees. And so we lift one foot up, drop it back behind you, take your hand up to the sky, right? You're trying to spin your chest open, whether you're on your knee or on your toes. Come back around, take your tricep push-up, bend your elbows, come back up. Then you go the other way, lift that opposite foot, drop it, take your hand up to the sky, spin your chest up to the sky, come back around, take a tricep push-up. All right, so that's the whole sequence. Now, we're gonna do it a couple more times, right? You can choose on your knees or on your toes. I'm gonna do a combination of on my knees and on my toes, which is to say that when I do the tricep push-up, I'm gonna drop to my knees, but I'm gonna do the spins, the wild things from my toes, all right? So you're coming to plank or modified plank, right? Here, I'm gonna drop my right knee down, pick my left foot up, take it back behind me, come around. This is on the knees, come back around, take the tricep push-up, come back up, keep your left knee down, Lift the right foot, open up, come back around, take the push-up, right? Now, from the toes, left foot up, drop it around, spin open. Right now, I come back here. Now I'm gonna drop down to my knees to take the push-up. Right, you can do the push-up from your toes. You can do the side planks from your knees and the push-ups from your toes. Or like I'm doing, you can do the side planks from your toes and the push-ups from your knees. You can do them all from your toes. You can do them all from your knees. All right, we're gonna do 2 more each way. The wild thing, the push-up. Wild thing the other way, and push-up. 1 more time each way, right? Take the wild thing, back down, take the push-up. Last one, wild thing. Come back around, take your push-up. And this time as you come up from your push-up, you can shift it back to child's pose. And if you want to sweep your arms back behind you, let your shoulders kind of rest on your knees. Right, that's one way to go to give your arms a little bit of release. All right, now we've got one more thing to do in this plank sequence. So you're gonna come up into your plank or modified plank, right? This time, as we come to that plank, you're gonna drop down to your elbows, right? So you're bringing your shoulder over your elbows, hands on the ground, right? So I'm doing this full forearm plank. You can drop to your knees, but again, you gotta keep your hips low. Don't push those hips up to the sky. See how you can see my hips back there? I don't want you to be like this, right? If you're gonna be on your knees, shift it all forward. Keep your shoulders over your elbows, keep the hips low. All right, what we're gonna do here, all you're gonna do, you're gonna lift your right foot up, tap it down. Lift your left foot up, tap it down. So you're just going back and forth here. Now, you can do this from your knees. I'm gonna angle slightly so you can see me if I'm on my knees. Right, here on my knees. I'm just lifting up, kicking back, kicking back down. Just keep going, alternating your feet. If you're up on your palms, it's here. Lift, lift. We should be on our forearms. I'm messing that up. Lift, lift. I don't want you on your forearms, I want you low. Keep your hips low. Mine are almost going up too high. There we go. All right, just do 5 more here on each side. 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Now, drop your knees here. Let yourself shift back to child's pose. Right now, we made it through that first plank sequence. All right, so now when we come up, we're gonna come around and you're gonna come to your back. All right, so I'm gonna lay down here on my back. We're gonna come angled a little bit so you guys can see me. All right, so we're here. Now, we're gonna start just doing some simple bicycles. Right, because you can do Pilates all the time, you're familiar with these. You're gonna bring your legs to floating table. You're gonna take your fingertips, bring them behind your neck. All right, so your fingertips are touching behind your neck, your elbows are on the ground. You're gonna take your left leg, kick it long, so that left heel just hovers the mat. And then keep your right elbow anchored to the ground. Take your left shoulder, peel it up, bring it towards your right knee. Right, your left elbow is gonna come closer to your left knee, or to your right knee. Try really hard not to lead with your left elbow. Lead with your shoulder. And then come back down, switch it out. Take your right leg long, let the right heel hover. Get that left shoulder up, or right shoulder up. Bring it towards your left knee. See how my left elbow is staying anchored to the ground. Come back down, switch out your legs. All right, so that's what we're doing here. These bicycles. We do them nice and slow and controlled. I'm gonna try to do 10 on each side, right? You don't have to go as fast or as slow as I'm going. You go at your own pace. Keep moving here. Make sure that was all set up. I'm gonna do 4 more on each side. 4, 4, 3, 2. Last one. 1. And 1. All right, now let yourself lay all the way down. Hug your knees into your chest. All right, now what we're gonna do here, right? We're gonna do some little eagle crunches. To start at floating tables, take your right leg, cross it over your left. So you want that right leg closer to your body. So legs are in this little crisscross. Maybe you can take those right toes and hook them around the left calf. If that doesn't work for you, you don't have to do that part. You can just be right here, right, with your knees crossed. Now, your arms are gonna go up to the sky. You're gonna come to eagle arms here, right? So we want the right arm and the right leg to be the closest things to each other. I'm gonna cross my elbows. I want my right arm closer to my legs. You can just grab opposite shoulders here, and you can bring it back of palm to back of palm, or if you can get the full wrap, you can come palm to palm. And once you're there, right, all we're gonna do here, lift the head and shoulders up, you pull the knees toward you so that your right elbow and your right knee should touch each other. Okay? And then let your legs go back out. Now you're not kicking your legs all the way out, you're just taking your knees over your hips and you're letting your head and shoulders come back down. Lift up again, crunch it, back down. So it's a small little movement, but you're gonna feel it. Up and down, up and down. Let's do 8 more here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right now, come back down here. Let everything unwind. Your legs are still in floating table, right? Because we need to do those again. We're going to do them going the other way, right? So you're going to take your left knee, put it on top of your right. So this time your left leg's closer to your body. And again, once you can bring it to those left toes, look around the right calf. If you just hear your feet separated, that's okay too, right? But your knees are over your hips as much as they can be right now. And so go up to this guy. Now this time you want your left arm to be closer to your left leg, right? So your right arm comes closer to your body. You can grab opposite elbows, give yourself a little hug, be back of hand to back of hand, be palm to palm. Sometimes the back of hand to back of hand, really difficult here, right? When we're standing, it's easier. When you're lying down, it's almost harder to get the back of the hand to the back of the hand. If you want to go there, you can. All right, now we're going to do those crunches again. So you lift your head and shoulders up, pull your knees in toward you, get your left elbow to touch your left knee. Come back down, crunch it, come back down, crunch it, come back down, crunch it, come back down. Just do 8 more here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now we unwind all the way. Hug your knees into your chest and let yourself just kind of rock back and forth. All right, now from here, we're going to rock it up into a seated position. All right, so we're going to do a whole little flow here, right? It's a plank flow, but the first time we're going to do it through the first time, and we're going to do it nice and slow. And this is me calling up my notes so that I know where we're going, right? So I'm going to show you all the moves, and then we're going to put it together as kind of a little flow. All right. So from here, you're going to come around, right? We're going to start in plank, right? Or modified plank down on the knees. Wherever you are here, you're going to bring your right knee your elbow. So it looks like that. Then you send it back to plank. Now this time, you're gonna bend into your right knee, but then you're gonna take that right foot, you're gonna kick it underneath your left armpit. Right, so your right foot's going to the left. Now let your left heel drop down here, and then take your left hand up to the sky, starfish, right? You could do this whole thing down on your knee, right? If you're in a modified plank, you take that right foot, kick it through, lift up, come back down, right? So we're gonna bring it back into plank here, right? So you're taking that right leg, taking it back. Now from here, both heels drop to the left. You're stacking your right foot on top of the left, or you're staggering in front or back behind you. You're just gonna open up to a side plank, take your right shoulder, stack it on top of the left. Right now, you come down here. Come all the way down, we're in full plank. As you get to plank, now you're gonna drop into forearm plank. So you're letting your elbows come down, shoulders over the wrists. From our forearm plank this time, we're gonna shift into dolphin. So you're gonna lift your hips up, let your head go between your shoulder blades. Walk your feet closer to your elbows, as close as you can. So your hips are high here. It's like you're in a down dog, only on your forearms. That's your dolphin. I'm trying to look up and see what I look like on the camera. Okay, just make sure you guys can see me. Now from here, you're gonna push forward with your toes. Let your chin towards your thumbs, right? So your elbows go past your wrists. You're taking a shift. Then you come back into your dolphin. Now lift your right leg up to the sky. Take that right foot, kick it out to the right. Bring it back to center, and then drop it down. As you drop down here, drop down to your knees, right? So your knees are right underneath your hips, right? Push with your palms, come all the way up into a high knee, just like this. This is kind of like a little break. Now, you're gonna take your right hand, drop it back. You're gonna lean back. You're trying to reach that right hand towards your right heel. If you don't grab your right heel, you're on your calf or your thigh, right? Reach those left fingertips up and over your right shoulder. You're looking over your right shoulder. There we go. Now from here, you're gonna cartwheel it all the way around, come to tabletop. And then from tabletop, let your legs extend back long, come back into plank, bend your elbows, lower yourself to your belly. All right, so now you're here on your belly with your hands right by your chest. Sweep your hands back behind you, palms face up. All right, and then you're gonna lift your head and shoulders, lift your feet, come into locust. So you should feel this in your back. And from there, let your feet come down, bring your hands to your chest, tuck your toes under, push yourself back up to plank. All right, now you can drop to your knees here, take a child's pose. When we start to flow in a little bit, we'll just do it all the way through, but we won't be holding as long in each of these poses because you'll know. But we're gonna do it one more time here on the left side, nice and slow. A, so that you guys all remember the sequence, right? At least as well as you can. And B, so that our left side knows what to do, all right? You know what variations you want to take. So come to plank or modified plank here, right? And then I'm gonna do it for modified plank so you guys can see. You're down on your knees, you're just gonna take your left elbow, or your left knee, bring it to your left elbow. Then come back to plank. Now this time, you're gonna take that left knee into your chest, but you're gonna kick that left leg all the way through. So your left foot's on the ground, right? Sole the foot facing to the outside. Drop your right heel, that's important. So you can take the right hand up to the sky. And the starfish. Now from your starfish, you're gonna drop that right hand down, take your left leg, bring it back to plank, then let your heels drop over to the right. Take the left hand up to the sky. You can do this from your knees with your right knee down, and just like this. Now from here, you're gonna bring it back into plank. This time, once you're in plank, you drop down to your elbows. So shoulders over the elbows, in that forearm plank, let your hips lift up. Come on up. Let your head drop between your shoulder blades. Push the hips high. The closer you walk your feet towards your elbows, the more you're gonna feel it in your arms, in your core, right? So you can back it off. Here, if your feet go further back, it's a little easier. The closer they come in, the more you're gonna feel it, right? But wherever you are, push with your toes. Let your shoulders go past your wrists. Bring your chin towards your thumbs. Take it back. Let your head drop between your shoulder blades. Now, Take your left leg, lift it up to the sky. Kick it out to the left. Bring it back to center. Drop it back down. Drop back down here. Now you come to your knees. Look up. Push your hands away from the mat. Come all the way up. Behind me. All right, let your left hand come down this time. It's going to reach towards your left heel. Maybe you can touch your left heel. Maybe your hand's on your calf or your thigh or your glute. That's okay too. Reach those right fingertips up and over your left shoulder. Look over your left shoulder. So you're leaning back. You're spiraling to the left. All right, now from here, cartwheel your hands down. Land in tabletop. Step it back to plank or modified plank. And then you lower down. Bend your elbows. Bring yourself all the way down to your belly. Take your hands, sweep them back behind you, and then lift up into your locust. Right? Now, if you want to make your locust a little more intense, you can come to cactus arms here with your palms facing the ground, or you can reach your hands all the way forward. That's a little too much for me on my back. I hardly ever go there, but you can if you want to, right? And then let everything come back down. Now let's shift back into child's pose here. All right, so we did that on both sides. We're gonna do it again a couple more times through, but we're gonna move faster, right? So we're not gonna pause in those poses, right? Hopefully now you know if you wanna take them on your knees or on your toes, and you know how to do that, you know how to modify where you wanna modify, right? And you know where you're going. As we go through the poses, we don't spend more than a breath in each one of them. All right, so we're gonna try to do it 2 times through on each side, all right? So start by coming to your version of plank on your knees or on your toes. Bend into that right knee, touch it to your right elbow. Take it back to plank. This time bend into it, kick it through, over to the left side, drop your left heel, lift your left hand up to the sky. Drop that left hand, ride your right foot back to plank, and then let both heels drop to the left. Come to your side plank. Come back down to your plank, drop to your forearms. So you're in forearm plank, and then you lift your hips up, you shift your head back, so you can walk your feet closer into your dolphin. From your dolphin, shift forward, chin towards the thumbs. Come back to regular dolphin, lift the right leg up to the sky. Kick it out to the right, bring it back in. Drop it down, back into dolphin, drop to your knees, push up to high kneel. From your high kneel, take your right hand, drop it towards your right heel, reach the left hand up and over, half camel, all the way back up, come to tabletop, step back to plank, lower it down to your belly. And then from your belly, take your version of locust. And then from there, drop your feet, bring your hands to your chest, tuck your toes, push back up into plank. We go right into the left side. Bend your left knee, touch it to your left elbow. Take it back to plank. Bend it again, kick it through underneath your right armpit. Drop your right heel, lift your right hand, starfish. Let your right hand come down, unthrow that left leg, back to plank. Let both heels drop to the right. Take your left hand up to the sky, side plank. Drop it back down into plank. This time, come to your forearms. Let your head go between your shoulder blades. Lift your hips. Walk your feet in closer into dolphin. Shift forward, chin towards the thumbs. Shift back. Lift your left foot up. Kick it out to the left. Bring it back. Drop it down. Back into dolphin. And you drop your knees. Push up. Come to high kneel. Your left hand goes down towards your left heel. You back into that half camel. Come back up. Drop down to tabletop. Step back to plank. Lower it down to your belly. Sweep your hands back behind you or in front of you, right? Lift up to your locust. Bring your hands back to your chest. Tuck your toes under. Push it up. We're gonna do it one more time. Side. Right, so right elbow touches the right knee. Back to plank. Right foot kicks underneath the left armpit. Come to starfish. Let that left hand come down. Come back to plank. Come to your side plank. Drop down into your plank. And then come to your forearm plank. Back into your dolphin. Forward with your toes. Take your shift. Come back. Lift your right foot up. Kick it out to the right. Bring it back to center. Drop it down. Bend your knees. Drop your knees. Come up into high kneel. Right hand goes back. Left hand reaches up and over. Come back up to high kneel. Drop it to tabletop. Step back to plank. Lower down to your belly. Your hands in front of you or behind you. Lift up to locust. Bring your hands back to your chest. Tuck your toes under. Push it up to plank. All right, we're just doing that one more time on the left side. Left elbow, left knee touch. Right, left foot goes back. Left foot threads through to starfish. Lift your right hand. Right hand comes down. We come back to plank. Drop your heels to the right. Come to your side plank. Drop back to your regular plank. Come to your elbows. Forearm plank. Lift your hips. Shift your head back. Walk your toes in. Dolphin. Shift in your dolphin. Push your chin towards your thumbs. Come back. Lift that left foot up. Kick it to the left. Bring it back in. Drop it down. Drop your knees. Push up. High kneel. Take your left hand. Drop it down. Bring it towards your left heel. Left camel. Come back up. High kneel. Drop to tabletop. Step back to plank. Lower it all the way down to your belly. Sweep your hands back behind you. Lift up your locust. Locust. Your feet, hands to your chest. Push back up into plank. Drop your knees. Come to child's pose. All right, so take a couple breaths there. In your child pose. That was a whole super lot. Right, so when you take a breath. And eventually, when you're ready, you're gonna come back up to tabletop. And we're gonna give our arms a little break, come back around to our backs. So let your hips go to one side or the other. Swing your legs around in front of you. Now, lay down on your back here. This time, we're gonna take our feet straight up to the sky. All right, so flex your feet like you're gonna step on the ceiling. Now, what we're gonna do from here, I'm gonna angle sideways a little bit. I feel like I can see what's going on. You can see what's going on. So I'm here, my hands are reaching up to the sky. Lift your head and shoulders, right? So your head and shoulders are gonna stay lifted as your hands reach towards your feet. Now what we're gonna do here, right? You're gonna drop your left heel till it hovers the mat. And as you're doing that, keep your left hand reaching towards your right toes. Let your right hand reach back behind you. It doesn't touch the ground, it's just reaching back behind you. And then you're gonna pull your left leg up, pull your right hand up, head and shoulders still off the mat. Now take your right heel, drop it to the mat. Right hand stays reaching towards the left foot. So you're not dropping your right heel to the mat, just hovering over the mat. Left hand behind you. Right fingertips to the left toes. Right, now everything comes back up. Right, so we're just gonna keep going there. Now the left heel drops, left hand stays up, right hand reaches behind you. Bring it all back up. Switch it out. Right heel drops, left hand reaches back behind you. Bring it all up, right? Keep going here. A little bit of a mind-body workout, right? Realize how to remember where you're going. Opposite hand always stays up, reaching towards the opposite foot, the foot that didn't move. The other hand reaches back behind you. Right, so you're gonna do 3 more each side here. Last one each side. And let your head and shoulders come down. Let your hands come to your sides. Keep your feet up to the sky. Just take a couple breaths here in your waterfall. You can't talking to watch. All right. All right. Now from here, we're gonna come back up. You're gonna reach your hands back up towards your toes. You're gonna lift your head and shoulders. Right. And this time we're just gonna pulse here. Right. So pulse, pulse. A little lift up and down. Make a good touch your toes with your fingertips. Do it 10 more times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right now, let your hand come down. Take your knees, hug them in to your chest. Right, now we're going to do our scoops here. So you're going to stay on your back. Take your feet up to the sky. Now let's start with our little hip lift. Right? Your hands are going to be at your sides, palms face down. Your feet are going up towards the ceiling. You're going to try to push into your palms a little bit. Let your hips lift up off the mat. Now you're not trying to kick your feet back behind you, right? I keep a lot of momentum. I can swing my legs back there. It's pretty easy. What I want is for my feet to go straight up towards the ceiling. So it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit less of a big move. The important thing here, right, when you do these hip lifts, is that you control them on the way down, right? So you don't want to just be slamming your hips to the ground. So try at least one or two, right? Where you just lift your hips, come back down. Might not be a big movement, mine aren't great today. Lift the hips, come back down. Now, from here, right, once you've done your hip lift, you're gonna lift your head and shoulders and just reach your fingertips forward. Now, bend your knees, you're in that floating table, and then kick your legs out till your heels cover the mat. Bring your legs back to the side. All right. Now, as you get here, you're going to let your head and shoulders come down again. They stay where they are. Your palms are pressing into the floor. Take a hip lift, right? So you're lifting the hips up. Now, your head and shoulders reach your fingertips forward. And your knees, come to floating table. Kick your legs all the way forward, heels covering the mat. And then pull them straight back up. Head and shoulders come down, palms pressing into the mat. Take your hip lift. Lift your shoulders. Hip forward. Scoop up. Rock your head and shoulders. Take your hip lift. Lift your head and shoulders. Bend your knees. Floating table. Kick your legs all the way forward. Bring them up. And from there, let your head and shoulders come back down. Let's do 3 more of those, right? So we let the head and shoulders come down. So we can take our hips. Let your hips come back down. Lift your head and shoulders. Take your legs to floating table. Kick them out long. Bring them back up. Let your head and shoulders come down. Take the hip lift. Drop your hips. Lift your head and shoulders. Bend your knees, floating table. Kick forward. Come back up. Drop the head and shoulders down. Take the hip lift. Drop it down. Lift your head and shoulders. Bend your knees. Forward. Scoop up. Shoulders come down. Take your hip lift. Lift your head and shoulders. Bend your knees. Floating table. Kick forward. Bring it back up. Let your head and shoulders relax down here. Hug your knees. In your chest. Right. From here, let your legs, let your arms come out long. Right, so your arms are in that T position. So I have my arms in a T. Right? Now I'm gonna bring my legs to floating table. And I'm just gonna take my legs, drop them over. I'm gonna go to the left first just to see. Start with your dropping. Keeping your shoulders anchored down. Not all the way down, just covering the ground. So you're engaged in the core. As your knees cover the ground, kick them out to the side. Right? And then take your bottom leg, which is your left leg here, drop it to the ground, pull it back up to the right. Do that 2 more times. Drop. Now bend into your knees, bring them back to center. And come out straight. And then take your right foot, drop it down, lift it up. Drop it down, lift it up. See my left elbow or left shoulder is anchored this whole time. Do it 1 more time. Lower, lift, and back into your knees. Pull back to center. We're just going to do that twice more on each side. Right? So working the obliques a lot. Drop your knees to the left. Hover them over the mat. Long. Stretch the left foot. Down. Up. Down. Up. And back into your knees. Pull Send them along to just 3 taps to the right. Down, up, down, up, up. Bend into your knees. Bring them back to center. Drop your knees over to the left. Kick them along. Take those 3 taps to your left foot. Down, up. And back into your knees. Hold to center. Kick. Left foot, right foot taps. Taps. One more time each way. Drop your knees. To left. Up. Your knees. Bring them back to center. Last one. Now, from here, we're going to rock it up to seated. So, bend into your knees. You're going to rock yourself all the way. Right, we're standing up here. So we're up here. Now, you're going to take your right leg, extend it long. Take your left foot, bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. So we're in this half butterfly here, right? Now, from here, just take your left hand. You're going to bring your left hand back behind you. So it's back behind your left hip. Take your right hand up to the sky. Now, you're going to push. You're going to let those right toes dig into the mat. You're going to push into your left hand, your left knee. Lift your hips up off the mat. Just reaching over. Now, come back down. Right, you want to line it up so that left foot comes against the right in your thigh. Take your right hand, rainbow it down so it taps outside your right hip. I want you to do that 4 more times. So we're going to come up, come back down, come up, come back down. Twice more. Up, down, up, and down. Now, from here, you're going to sweep that left hand over. So we're going to come around. Your hands are not on your right leg, but they're on either side of your right leg. But I don't want you to lean forward here, right? And I definitely don't want you to lean back. I want you to keep your shoulders right over your hips. Really flex your right foot so your toes are coming back towards your face, right? And then just lift your right leg up off the ground. Take it back down, all right? Do that 4 more times. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now from here, let's switch our legs. Take your left leg, let it go all the way long. Bend into your right knee, bring the sole of your right foot against your left inner thigh. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing here. Your right hand is gonna sweep around, come back behind your right hip. Left hand goes up to the sky, push into your right hand, push into your right knee. Let your left toes dig into the mat, lift your hips up off the mat. Come back down, tap your left hand outside your left hip. 4 more times like that. 4, 3, 2, last one. 1. Come up. Now, let your left hand come around outside your left leg. Sweep that right hand around. It's on the inside of your right leg, right? It doesn't matter where your hands are, but again, it's important that your shoulders stay over your hips. If I lean back like this and I'm here and I'm lifting my leg up and down, that's super easy, right? I'm not getting anything out of it, right? But you're also not leaning forward, right? We're gonna do that in a second. I promise you'll get the stretch, right? But right now, just keep your hips, your shoulders over your hips, really flex into that left foot. See if you can lift that left foot up and down off the mat 5 times. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Now from here, we're gonna switch our legs back out. Take your right leg long again, bend into your left knee. Bring the sole of the left foot against the right inner thigh. This time, we're just gonna go into the half butterfly stretch, right? So angle your torso towards your right leg. Take both hands up to the sky, and then just let yourself fold over that right leg. Oh, it should feel good. Keep your back flat here. Just bring your chest as far forward as you can. As you're stretching out that spine, as you twist slightly to the right, stretching out that right hamstring. So it should feel amazing. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then slowly let yourself peel back up. Now, as you peel back up here, you're just gonna take your right hand. It's gonna come to your right thigh, and you're gonna start to slide it along your right thigh. So you're leaning forward, but as you reach forward with that right hand, you're gonna let your chest spin to the left, right? So maybe you can grab onto your right toes, maybe your hands on your ankle or your shin or your knee. It's all good wherever you get. Now with your left hand, maybe you just wanna take that left hand, press into the inside of the left knee, right? Peel open with that left shoulder, let your chest open a little bit more towards the left side of the room. That's the easiest thing. Maybe you want to take that left hand, wrap it around your back, reach towards your right inner thigh. That allows your shoulder to peel open a little bit more, twisting a little bit deeper. Maybe you want to take that left hand up to the sky and reach it towards your right foot. Right? Some of you maybe can even touch your left fingertips to your right foot. I can't do that. Right? So you can be here, you can be here, you can just be here. Wherever you are, let's take 3 more breaths. And then slowly peel back up. And now we're gonna do those stretches on the other side. So take your left leg, let it go long, bend into your right knee, bring the sole of your right knee to your left inner thigh, angle your torso here over your left leg, take your hands up to the sky, and then lean forward. Folding over that left leg. And if you don't grab your foot, you can grab your ankle, your shin, your knee. Your hands can be on the mat on either side of that left leg. We're just trying to keep that back flat, trying to get the chest as far forward as you can bring it. Allow yourself to feel that stretch in the spine and in the left leg. And we'll slowly peel back up. All right, now, this time, as we come back up, you take your left hand to your left thigh, start to slide it down as much as you can, letting your chest turn to the right. Maybe you can get all the way to your toes, maybe again, your ankle, your shin, your knee, all good, right? The right hand either presses against the right knee as you push that chest open, maybe the right hand wraps around your back, maybe that right hand reaches up and over. Whatever feels good to you, right? I'm gonna take it easy on the side today. It doesn't feel great. Let it open. I'm not trying to get too fancy with it. Take 3 more breaths here. And let's slowly come back up. Right now, you can take your legs, you can kick them long in front of you here, or you can bring them to easy sit. We're just gonna do a quick little stretch for our arms and our back, right? So take your hands up to the sky, interlace them together, and then push your palms up towards the ceiling. Just hold right there, just reaching up towards the sky. And then push your palms in front of you. So your palms are going towards the front of the mat. Tuck your chin to your chest. Let your back round out here. Push forward. And come back up. Now release your hands. Let them come to your sides. We're all going to come back to our back. take the legs up to the sky, finishing up with our legs up the wall or a waterfall, right? If you got the wall space and you want to go there, you can go there. If you're just on your mat, you're going to take your legs straight up to the ceiling. Flex your feet like you're going to step on the ceiling, right? If I was doing it against the wall, I would have one hip against the wall, swing my legs up, and then pull it in until my glutes are right against the wall and my legs are supported by the wall, right? So if you have the wall space, this is nice because you get that support for your legs, right? If you don't have a wall and you feel like it's hard to hold your legs right over your hips, right, then you can grab behind your legs with your arms, give them a little bit of support that way. So look like this. Okay. We're all just trying to get our feet above the head and the heart, send the blood from the feet where it pools all day, bring it back to our head and heart when we need it more. That's why this is so good for us. A little inversion. So I want you to stay here for a few more breaths. You can stay here for 5 more minutes if you want. Let it feel good. Now, when you're ready to come out of it, if you're actually on a wall, then you're just going to bend your knees until your feet are right against the wall, and then let yourself roll over to your side from there, so you end up in a fetal position with your feet against the wall. If you're on your mat, right, you just bend your knees, let them scrape along your face and body until your feet come down to the mat again, and then you roll over to your side. Eventually, we're all going to make our way up to seated. All right, and that was our Pilates for today. I can mute you guys now. Okay, I don't know how to do this. Or you can unmute yourself if you want. Maybe I have to unmute. Have to unmute, has to unmute, has to unmute. There we go. All right. Now we'll stop